Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to The Final Assessment, a podcast about evil. I'm Jean.
I'm Victoria.
Today, Season 2, Episode 10. O is for Ovaphobia.
All about Kristen's eggs today.
We're afraid of Kristen's eggs, I guess. Ovaphobia. I mean, there was not any real fear of eggs in this one.
No, there wasn't. I watched the episode and I was like, nobody was scared of anything. Why did they call it that?
I think O is for ovum would have worked.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Ovulation.
Ovulating ovaries.
Yeah.
A lot of things would have worked.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I sat down and put all the letters together. They don't spell anything.
I'm thinking I think there was a hint earlier where Leland did the thing where he changed the alphabet he was using with every letter. I'm going to deep dive into this. We're going to figure it out before the end of the season. It's just going to get on my nerves. If it doesn't spell anything, it's going to annoy me by episode 13, and you'll find out why. But in the meantime, we open up at dinner with Cheryl Leland.
Yes.
He is inviting her to some dinner at the Hamptons. He's like, well, there's going to be some influencers there.
I'm not even sure what.
Again, the show is not being super subtle. But
like influencer, what kind?
We're going to find out what kind of influencers, not what we're thinking of. We're not
no.
Yeah. So our trio, they are interviewing Kristen and others, but Kristen in particular right now, about her fertility clinic experience.
Yes.
We do find out that a doctor named Autry was the person paying for the storage.
Yeah, for the past 6 years.
We're going to get down that rabbit hole in a minute. Okay. Ben and Vanessa, I forgot how wild this storyline got. So,
yeah, I did too.
yes. Okay, so they're talking about, do they love each other? They're having that conversation. They're setting us up for a wild ride with Ben and Vanessa.
Oh.
One that to this day doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but...
Yeah, make sure you're hooked in for the roller coaster.
Yeah. So we got another person from RSM named Tammy. She has a similar situation as Kristen, where she received a letter, though, about the
rent for egg storage.
Right? Rent for your egg storage, which I don't know how these things work. I'm assuming, yes. I mean, it's not cheap to keep eggs in a usable condition. I get all that. But, like, at some point, if you've taken part in this process, you've got to be like, okay, what's going on with my eggs? Like, where's my eggs? But anyway, so she has a daughter, Matilda, who sounds a lot like Lexus. She also has the protruding canines, the little vampire teeth.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, and something about Matilda setting fires.
Matilda setting fires, which I don't think we've seen Alexis do that yet.
No, we haven't.
Oh, we are getting visited again from Melindaz, who we remember from Seven Swans of Singing. With the annoying song thing.
Yeah.
Alexis is watching her talk about teeth whitening. Okay, this is terrible. I can't speak for the experience of young boys. I was never a young boy, so I can only speak for the experience of young girls, especially girls around Alexis's age. And this scene felt so real to me.
Yes.
Because Melindaz has this thing where it's like, well, you can always tell what your weakness is because you ask a friend, hey, how do I look? And they'll be like, oh, you look great. But then their eyes will go to something.
Yes.
And you'll know that's where you
need to work.
Yeah, you need to work. So after she watches this, she goes to her mom, how do I look? And Kristen's like, oh, you look great. And her eyes go right to Alexis's teeth.
Yes.
And they do it from Alexis's point of view. Yes, I think as somebody who was once a girl that age, it felt so real.
Yeah, it did.
So good on them. Anyway, Kristen calls RSM. I can also relate to this. Not because I've donated eggs, but I can relate to stonewalling receptionists at businesses. Kristen calls RSM for a status update. She's like, I haven't paid any storage on my eggs for 6 years, but they're still there. What's going on? And the receptionist is like, yeah, well, there's somebody else on your account, and that's how it's getting paid. And Kristen's like, well, who? Well, we can't tell you that. And Kristen's like,
well, it's my account.
It's my account. What are you talking about? You can't tell me that.
They're my eggs.
She said that. It's like, my eggs, bitch. What are you talking about? These are my eggs. These are mine.
Yeah.
But not getting anywhere with this woman. And smiling the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, that was crazy. She's just smiling and like, I can't help you.
And, I mean, yes. I mean, if you've ever gone to the MVA or anything,
the DMV,
whatever. I mean, like anytime you have to deal with somebody whose job is to stonewall you, it's infuriating.
Yes, and they do it with such a great smile.
Yes. On a side note, it's related, but not directly related to the show. I do appreciate, because I've been in a position where it's like, look, I know, but I can't do anything about it, you know? But I definitely appreciate it when people are like, yeah, I get it. And they give you the sympathetic, like, yeah, I know, fuck these people. But what can I do?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, I get it, man. Like, I get it.
But,
you know? But, yeah. But when you smile about it, like, you enjoy telling me to eat shit. No, that's what I don't like. So Vanessa and Ben are back at the psychic. I thought it was a voodoo shop psychic lady that the girls had gone to for the stuff for the zombie episode. This psychic's name is Miss Murray. First question, whose phone is locked?
Yeah, that was crazy.
So the point is to detach Vanessa from her sister Maggie.
Yeah, because supposedly Maggie trashed the apartment.
Yes. So we're like, okay, so they're doing, is it an exorcism of me? I don't know what's going on here. What?
Ben wanted to get her help by letting her talk to somebody, but she's like, no, let me try something else first.
So they go to the psychic who does whatever she does. Vanessa's doing some acting here, man.
That scene is great.
It is amazing. All love to Miss Murray, because at the end of it, she's like, your sister is no longer attached. Everybody's all happy. And Miss Murray just holds out her hand. $300, please.
$350.
No, $350. Yeah, $350.
Yeah, it was so funny because the table gets flipped and stuff, and she just goes back to normal, and she looks over at Ben. $350.
I gotta get in on the psychic business, man. This $350 for what, 10 minutes worth of work? I'm doing that.
I mean, and all of it looked like it could have been set up perfectly, you know?
Well, yeah, like I said, I never get clarity. I want them to come back. I know they're not going to get another season or whatever. I want them to come back and do a movie that is all just explaining these loose ends.
Yeah.
I don't want anything else. I'm not going to give anything else.
Was the psychic real? Was she fake?
What is this Maggie Vanessa thing, which only gets more crazy as it goes on?
How does your sister get attached to you? I don't get that.
Okay, I have my suspicions, but we'll get to it when we get to it. So anyway, Kristen goes to RSM. This is a different person than the person that's working the desk.
No.
And this person is one of these, like, yeah, this is all wild.
She stonewalls her until the manager's out of sight.
Yes, and then she's like, I can give you to my manager, but she's going to be even worse than me.
And I mean, and she tells her this place is horrible.
She says that the world is coming to an end. Yeah. We're in the last days. I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you, lady. I don't see evidence to tell me you're wrong. But we do find out that Kara Autry is the name of the doctor that has been paying for the storage on Kristen's eggs.
Yeah.
So, Vanessa and Ben again. Ben is trying to get Vanessa to meet with Kristen. This is a lot of interesting stuff that's happened to you. Maybe you want to talk to a professional.
And she basically pulls him inside, rips off his clothes, and attacks him
sexually. She's very horny.
Yeah.
Very horny. And when he says something out, he's like, wow, you're really horny. Heightened. She's like, well, I can let loose now because my sister's gone. And she brushes her arm, but she brushes the wrong arm. And Ben's like, you brushed the wrong arm. So now Ben's like, what?
What the heck?
What? Ben, I got an ancient piece of advice for you, my man. Never stick your dick in crazy.
Too late.
I told Dexter this, and I'm telling you this.
They all do it at some point.
God, and yes, they all do it at some point. And then they're like, bitches be crazy. No, it was just like that one bitch that all the other bitches told you not to
go to.
Anyway, so David and Kristen are interviewing somebody else. They've had 2 children using RSM.
Who?
This next couple, Eric and Olive are their name.
No, one was RSM.
Okay.
But then the doctor that she liked, Autry, left.
Okay.
And started her own company, and so she went to her for the one she's pregnant with at the moment.
Right. They said there was no problems with the process.
No.
The problems didn't start till after the kids were born. I'm like, that's usually when problems start with kids.
Well,
yes.
I mean, every kid's going to have a problem.
In the meantime, Cheryl has to find an outfit for this party, so she's taking the girls shopping with her. Alexis is going through some stuff with the sizes and
trying to figure out what fits good.
Yeah, and she looks like she's just wearing a potato sack with everything. Again, You understand this Lexus storyline here is a great externalization of what girls go through at this time in their life.
Yeah.
You could almost just pull this story out and make it its own thing. It's really
Yeah, because, I mean, it's a body image thing.
It is
at this point, because she is wearing everything so much bigger and looser.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through that.
Everybody could. I mean,
I think I still do that a lot. But, yeah, and of course, we have a surprise later on about that.
But like I said, one thing this show does really well is it takes things that seem normal and just the way it breaks them out and explicates them and amps them to make the point. I appreciate it. So Alexis has an app, which Kristen notices her looking at. She has an app that like changes the way she looks.
Yes.
Changes her skin and everything. And she's like, oh, God, great. This is bad enough. When I was a kid, it was bad enough with my web feet, but I didn't have apps on the phone and stuff. She talked to Cheryl about it while they're in line.
Yes.
We found out that when Kristen was younger, she thought she had fat cheeks, so she slept with her head between two encyclopedias leaning up against her cheeks. And she's like, I did not. Cheryl's like, yeah, you did.
Hilarious. And earlier, when Cheryl was trying on a dress, we watched her take off the security thing and stuffs it in her purse. I'm like, what?
I wish Cheryl would just stay away from all these demons because I love her.
I do too.
And I'm like, yeah, but then you're touching Leland's dick, lady.
That was such a bad idea for her.
Anyway. So we go at home. Lexus is looking in the mirror. And she has a tail.
The tail just pops out.
A legit tail. Like not like a little nub or nothing like that.
It's like a monkey's tail. It's long like that.
It's long. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be a demon tail or whatever.
Yeah.
But
touches her cheek.
It's very funny.
Yeah. I wrote, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
I was like, tail pops out, what the fuck?
I have to save my what the fucks for this show because there's so many times my first reaction is what the fuck. But I'm like, I got to save it because there's going to be a bigger what the fuck later every time. So I save my what the fucks. So anyway, Cheryl spent all this time picking out this awesome dress. She looks like $1,000,000.
Beautiful red dress.
Beautiful. She walks into this party. It's a white party. And everybody's like, look at this bitch.
She gives it to Leland and he's like, yeah, but you're original.
Oh my God.
And then somebody tells her the dress is what did they say? Your dress is perfect or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, which, in context as this goes on, you're like, oh, is this just because all these people are in on like this diabolical shit and she's just a lamb to the slaughter? Pete Townsend is there. We had that thing about Keith Moon in the last episode. Now,
yeah.
I get this thing about Pete Townsend. I don't keep up with all these old rock stars that much, really.
Yeah.
I don't care too much. But I'm like, what is going on? With Keith Moon, Pete Townsend, what? Are you implying something about Keith Moon and Pete Townsend? Well, maybe not Keith Moon because he was in heaven. But are you saying something about Pete Townsend?
I don't know.
I don't know. Either way, Pete Townsend's there. But there's also this guy, Edward Tregorian, that Leland introduces her to. They do some flirting.
Mm-hmm.
And Cheryl's like, are you pimping me out? Yes, he is pimping you out. He is pimping you out. You know he's pimping you out. You're better than this,
smarter
Cheryl.
than this.
Yeah. Kristen does meet with Dr. Autry, who offers her some cucumber water. But
that was so out of nowhere.
I know.
Would you like some cucumber water? And I'm like, the what?
No.
We're not at the spa.
Cucumber water is the type of thing, if I wanted it, I would have had it already. I don't want your cucumber water.
No.
So Autry says she doesn't remember Kristen, which is strange because you've been paying to store my eggs.
For 6 years.
For 6 years. So she's basically saying you abandoned your egg. She's like, I did not abandon my egg. I just didn't know there were any issues.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't get the bill.
Yeah.
Like, nobody sent me notification to pay.
Right. So this is, and I would find out that Autry is doing this. It's her religious beliefs. Okay, that's cool. Everybody has their beliefs, but then Princess is like, okay, but they're my eggs. They're my eggs, and I want them back. And she threatens her with a malpractice. And the doctor's like, I don't actually care because, like, you're just like a washed-up shrink that couldn't even keep a job with the state. And I have a waiting room full of people that want to see me. So go ahead, do whatever you're going to do. And I'm like, that's not quite how it works.
No. That is not how it works.
I mean, in fact, I would say you probably have more enemies because people are like, if you're that busy, people want to take you down so they can get their own business. But anyway.
It's weird that she knew all about Kristen's life.
Yeah, she did know a lot about... For somebody who's like, I don't remember you.
Yeah, you know a whole lot not to know her.
Yeah. But Kristen walks out. She's like, say goodbye to your business, bitch.
Yeah.
I love her. This was all a ruse to get the doctor to come out of her office, which she did. And David and Ben are waiting, and they follow her to Leland's apartment.
Doom, doom, doom.
Yes. I can't say I'm disappointed about what happens to her, but anyway. She was just so mean to Kristen.
Yes.
Lex is still watching Melindaz. Ben is in bed with Vanessa. They're asleep.
And it's actually Vanessa.
Is it, though?
I think when they're sleeping and she's chill, it's Vanessa. I think when she's attacking Ben, it's Maggie.
Because they're laying there, and she's asleep, and he's like, Maggie. Maggie. And she doesn't wake up. And finally, I guess just because she keeps hearing him, and she's like, what is going on? Are you dreaming about my sister?
Yeah, that's why I think it was Vanessa.
Yeah, maybe.
And he's like, no, I was clearing my throat.
Maggie.
Hey.
Maggie.
Oh, Ben.
Okay. At Leland's, Cheryl is with Triogan again. They're at Leland's. Why are you even fucking with Leland anymore? There's a reason she keeps getting drawn back to Leland. Why is she drawn back to Leland in particular?
Yeah, why him?
Why him? I mean, I know he's probably got some pull, but again, as we start to see in the next few episodes, does he really? I mean, I understand ambiguity is part of the point.
Yes.
But at some level, it gets to be very frustrating.
Yes, it does.
Especially with Cheryl. You want things from Cheryl. They tease you with them. And yeah.
And then they just take them away from you.
Take them away.
It's rude.
But so Edward is there, and he's like, I got a surprise. And
he's rubbing her feet.
Edward says this thing about the smallest man is always the biggest. That was a very pointed line. Leland's not a big guy.
Huh.
Anyway,
keep that thought in your mind.
Keep it in your mind, because he said that, and I was like, I don't remember hearing that the first time through. I did not pick up on it, but now it's in my head. I can't.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So he's rubbing her feet, and they're drinking wine, and I'll go back to this scene in my head several times over the rest of the season too, because he's like, "Hey, if you tried to stand up right now, could you?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "If you wanted to stand up, if you tried to stand up right now, could you?" And you could see on her face, she realizes she couldn't.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel bad for her here, because then he's like, if you tried to scream right now, you couldn't. I don't know how much of this is whatever
they've given her something in her drink, or if it's just
the power of
mindfuck.
Mindfuck, yeah. Either way, it's working, and she is clearly terrified.
Yes, and you can see the terror in her eyes.
Yes. And then they bring around this big old needle, and she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, tears rolling down her face with that.
Yeah. We'll come back to this again and again. I'm like, if she is what they want us to believe she is, I feel like this wouldn't have been the reaction.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, they're like, it's not dangerous or invasive. I'm like, it's a giant needle.
It's a needle.
And I can't move. This is all dangerous.
It's invasive. You're invading my body without permission.
Exactly. Ben and Maggie, Vanessa calls.
While he's with Maggie.
But he doesn't know it's Maggie. He thinks it's Vanessa, but then Vanessa calls. And he's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Maggie says something to Vanessa. She's like, we made a big old mess in your bedroom. And of course, Vanessa's mad now.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I don't know why she's mad, because you just fucked her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And
Ben doesn't know what to think.
No. But he actually grabs his things and goes, which I was like, I had a hot minute where I was like, is he just going to lay there?
Yeah. He tried to call Vanessa back, and she sent him to voicemail.
Yeah, of course she did.
Poor guy.
Okay. So the music's getting really weird here. Back at Leland, for some reason, he puts on the Nutcracker Suite.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
He turns the lights down low.
Yeah.
He goes into his wine vault. But behind the wine, there's a chamber. Dr. Autry is there.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like in a sack with just her face showing.
Yeah.
And she can't move.
Nope.
I guess we know why that person he had on his couch that was just in the bag. I guess we know what that was for now.
Yeah.
They doing this weird blood transfusion thing with Cheryl and Edward.
It's really weird. They put the needle in behind her knee so people won't see it. The whole time they were hooking her up, I'm just like, oh, poor Cheryl. She did not go for this.
Back at RSM, Kristen rolls in with the court order. She wants her eggs back, all 12 of them, right?
Yes.
A dozen eggs, a clean dozen. But they don't have a dozen eggs. They only have 11.
Yeah, how do you lose an egg?
That's what Kristen wants to know. How do you lose my egg? Where's my egg? I want my egg.
I gave you 12.
I gave you a dozen.
I want 12 back.
I can't make all my cookies with just 11 eggs. This smile, this shit-eating smile this receptionist has. I mean, it's infuriating.
Yes, it is. Yeah, because she's like, I don't know. There's only 11. Look at the computer.
I mean, at least pretend to be concerned.
They could give two shits.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah. David is headed to Leland's. He is still his spiritual counselor, I guess.
Poor David.
Poor David. And just as he's there, Edward and Cheryl are coming out. They seem top of the world, very happy.
Very happy.
Yes. Well, David is looking for Autry.
Yes.
Leland's fertility clinic friend.
Yeah, because they saw her go in, but they never saw her come out.
Yes. And they're like, well, no, she was by last night. No.
Yeah.
Don't know. So David's like, okay, now where is she? What's going on? What's Leland doing in there? You don't really want to know.
No.
So
the whole time I was kind of hoping David would break
just
in.
walk in.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm your spiritual counselor. I'm looking for ghosts or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Demons, whatever. At home, Kristen, she walks in on Alexis doing makeup. I like this part because then she's like, okay, look, we're putting the kibosh on this right now. People have gotten candid shots of Melindaz without her makeup on.
Exactly.
And she's like, that's what she looks like without her makeup. This is what she looks like with her makeup. It's two very different looks.
Very different.
I mean, she's explaining to her, like, you don't look the way you do because of some flaw. This is just how people look when they don't have all this makeup on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a nice moment.
I thought it was, too. A good mother-daughter thing.
Yes. Yes. I mean, Kristen makes some interesting parenting choices, but I think stuff like this is a good moment.
Yes.
A lot of girls going through this type of thing it would be good if they had a mother or anybody, step in and say, okay, I know what you're going through, which is good. It's what Lexus needed. Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
And then Kristen's like, okay, I've done my job. I'm happy. My girl's going to be okay. But then she's just twitching that tail. I'm like, you still got that big old tail.
Yeah.
The problem with the tail isn't that it makes you ugly or anything. Like, the problem with the tail is people are like, why do you have a tail?
You have a tail.
And not like, because some people do have tails, because humans have tails, and some people have more prominent tails that have not gone completely so they poke out a little bit, and a lot of times people have to get them removed.
Yeah.
But this is beyond that.
Yeah.
No humans or descendants of humans or whatever have ever had a tail like this. So.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody walking around with a tail like this.
So I think she could turn it into a career, but...
A career with the tail?
Sure. I'm a
I don't
lady
want
with
to
the tail.
know.
Twitch, twitch, twitch.
She can be in the circus.
Oh, she could have a TikTok channel or whatever. Just me and my tail. Twitch, twitch. Swatting flies. Whatever you would do with a tail.
I don't know. I don't know what you do with a tail.
But anyway, this episode gave us more questions than answers.
Yes, it did. Where's the egg? Where'd the tail come from?
What is going on with the blood swapping?
Yeah.
We'll kind of get some answers at some point. We'll see. Maybe. A little bit. Get some of them next week. We'll get the rest of them scattered over the rest of the seasons. We'll see. All right. So until next week, we will talk about episode 11. If you want to check out our other podcasts, there's Deconstructing the Dark Passenger, which is a podcast about all things Dexter. And there's Outside Food and Drink, which is our movie podcast. Check out all those. We have movies for April, May, a lot of fun movies. If you want to check those out. And as always, follow us on our socials, drop us a line, argue with us about our understandings of how blood transfusions and eggs work, whatever.
Let us know if there's other humans out there with long tails.
Long tails. I don't want to hear about your little 6-inch little piggly wiggly tail. I'm talking about a long, yes, you can swat away flies from your face tail.
You keep picking on Piggly Wiggly. What's up with that?
It's in my head. I don't know. Anyway, so until next week.
Later.